Kamso couldn't believe her eyes. There in the shadows of the village path stood the old woman, her eyes glowing with an unsettling light. In a small village in Africa, Kamso, a kind-hearted girl, lived with her poor parents. Despite their hardships, Kamso was known for her helpful nature. She was always ready to lend a hand. Unlike the other maidens, Amara, Dera, and Oma, who bullied her relentlessly because of her family's poverty. The three maidens had been cruel to Kamso for as long as she could remember. They would often mock her tattered clothes and call her names. Once, they had deliberately ruined the only decent dress Kamso owned, laughing as they tore the fabric with sharp sticks. Another time, they had pushed her into the mud on her way to fetch water, leaving her soaked and humiliated. Despite these cruel acts, Kamso never retaliated. She bore the torment with quiet dignity, her kind heart refusing to harbor resentment. One day, on her way back from the stream, Kamso carried a heavy pot of water on her head. The sun was setting, casting long shadows along the dusty path. As she walked, she noticed an old woman struggling under the weight of a huge bundle of firewood. The woman's steps were slow, and she seemed about to collapse any moment. Kamso was not alone. Amara, Dera, and Oma were with her, laughing and chattering away. They saw the old woman too. Just as the woman slipped on a banana peel and fell, her firewood scattering everywhere, the three maidens burst into cruel laughter. Kamso's heart went out to the old woman. Without a second thought, she set down her water pot and rushed to the old woman's side. "Are you okay, Ma?" Kamso asked, offering her hand to help her up. The old woman looked up at Kamso with eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, my child," she said in a shaky voice. Kamso helped the old woman to her feet and began to gather the scattered firewood. "Let me help you carry these home," she offered. The old woman nodded, showing Kamso the way. As they walked, Amara, Dera, and Oma continued to laugh and mock Kamso. "Look at Kamso, always trying to be a hero," Amara sneered. Maybe the old woman will give her some of her poverty as a reward, Dara added. Kamso ignored them, focusing on the path ahead and the struggling old woman beside her. The walk to the old woman's house was long and tiring, but Kamso didn't complain. She felt a sense of duty and compassion driving her forward. Finally, they reached a small, humble hut at the edge of the village. Kamso set down the firewood and helped the old woman sit on a stool outside the hut. The woman looked at Kamso with deep gratitude. "You have a kind heart, Kamso," she said. "May blessings follow you wherever you go." Kamso smiled and bowed her head in thanks. "It was my pleasure to help you, Ma," she said. The old woman reached into her hut and pulled out a small, intricately carved wooden box. "Take this, Kamso. It is a gift for your kindness, but remember, never open it. It will bring you good fortune." Kamso accepted the box with both hands, feeling its surprising weight. "Thank you, Ma," she said, puzzled but grateful. She bid the old woman goodbye and headed back to the village, her mind buzzing with the events of the day. Meanwhile, Amara, Dara, and Oma continued their journey home, still laughing about the old woman's fall and Kamso's foolishness. But as they walked, a strange chill settled over them. The shadows seemed to grow longer, and the air turned cold. That night, Kamso placed the box on a shelf in her small room and went to bed. She dreamed of the old woman who smiled at her and said, "Remember, Kamso, your kindness will be rewarded." The next morning, the village was abuzz with news. Amara, Dara, and Oma had woken up with strange, ugly marks all over their bodies. The marks were dark and ominous, and no one could explain them. Kamso felt a shiver run down her spine as she heard the news. She remembered the old woman's blessing and wondered if there was a connection. She decided to visit the old woman again, but when she reached the hut, it was empty. The old woman was nowhere to be found. Days passed, and the marks on the three maidens grew worse. They tried everything to get rid of them, but nothing worked. Their beauty faded, and they became outcasts in the village. People whispered that it was a curse, punishment for their cruel hearts. Kamso, on the other hand, flourished. Her family's fortunes began to change. They found unexpected sources of income. One day, Kamso's father found a hidden stash of gold in their backyard while planting crops. They sold the gold and invested the money wisely. Their lives improved significantly, and they built a beautiful house, far better than the one they had before. Kamso remained humble and continued to help others, always remembering the old woman's words. She shared her family's newfound wealth with the less fortunate in the village, earning even more respect and admiration from her community. Kamso's family's newfound wealth allowed her to pursue education, something she had always dreamed of. She excelled in her studies and became well known for her intelligence and compassion. The village elders often sought her advice on various matters, and she was happy to help. As Kamso grew older, her beauty and kindness did not go unnoticed. She attracted the attention of many suitors, but she was careful and patient in her choices. Eventually, she met a handsome and kind-hearted man named Chike. Chike was not only drawn to Kamso's beauty, but also to her compassionate nature. They fell in love, and their relationship blossomed. Chike admired how Kamso treated everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of their status. He saw in her the qualities of a good wife and mother, and he decided to ask for her hand in marriage. Kamso's parents were overjoyed. They had watched their daughter grow into a wonderful woman, and they were happy she had found someone who truly appreciated her. The village celebrated the union of Kamso and Chike with great joy. Their wedding was a grand affair. The entire village came together to celebrate, and even the maidens who had once bullied Kamso were present, albeit with their marks still visible. They watched with a mix of admiration and envy as Kamso and Chike exchanged their vows. Kamso and Chike's life together was filled with happiness and prosperity. They were blessed with wealth and comfort, and Kamso continued to help others in the village. Her acts of kindness multiplied, and she became a beloved figure, respected by all. Meanwhile, Amara, Dera, and Oma found it difficult to move on with their lives. The marks on their bodies were a constant reminder of their past cruelty, As they grew older, they realized that no young men in the village wanted to marry them because of their tainted reputation and the lingering marks. Desperate to avoid a life of loneliness, Amara and Dera settled for much older men. Amara married an elderly widower named Ekene. Ekene was a grumpy old man with a bad temper. He had lost his wife years ago and had no intention of marrying again until he saw how desperate Amara was. He treated her poorly, often reminding her of her unfortunate situation. She had no choice but to endure it, as she had nowhere else to go. Dera's situation was no better. She married an old, wealthy man named Nduka. Nduka was known for his strict and controlling nature. He had many children from his previous marriages, all of whom were older than Dera. They never accepted her as part of the family and made her life miserable. She lived in constant fear of Nduka's wrath and the disdain of his children. Oma, on the other hand, remained unmarried. Her pride prevented her from settling for an old man, and she lived a solitary life, regretting her past actions every day. She watched as Kamso's life flourished, and she often reflected on the choices she had made. Kamso's story served as a powerful lesson for the village. It taught everyone that kindness and compassion would always be rewarded, while cruelty and envy would lead to one's downfall. Kamso's legacy continued to inspire generations, a testament to the power of a kind heart and the importance of treating others with respect and love. The morals of the story: kindness is rewarded. Acts of kindness and compassion often lead to unexpected blessings and positive outcomes. Cruelty has consequences. Treating others poorly can result in negative consequences and lifelong regrets. Forgiveness is powerful. Forgiving those who wrong us can lead to personal growth and healing for both parties. Envy is destructive. Jealousy and envy can lead to one's downfall and should be avoided. Good deeds create positive change. Helping others can improve not only their lives but also our own, creating a ripple effect of positivity. That's the end of the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, share with loved ones, and subscribe to help grow the channel. Also click the notification bell so you'll know when next I drop another video. Thank you. Until next time, bye.